Technology has made massive changes to our life, from ordering foods through applications on phones to doing cases presentations remotely in front of our laptop. In the case of FinFolution, being one of the leading fintech companies in China, your company has leveraged the use of various IT technology to provide equal access financial services to the Chinese market. However, we believe that it is the right time for FinPollution to really expand its coverage and thrive for the future. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and the board of directors of FinPollution. Please allow us to briefly introduce ourselves. My name is Alexander as the first speaker, to be followed by my colleague Andika, Shania, and Erika. We are Team Universitas Gadjah Mada, proudly representing Indonesia. So before we get you into our presentation, let us walk you through the summary of our presentation, in which in the next few minutes, we are going to answer the key question as seen on the top of the slide, taking into account two key issues to solve with two strategies, as well as the following expected key impacts shown at the bottom of the slide. Ladies and gentlemen, in the next few minutes, this is the key question that we are going to answer. How can FinPollution leverage its robust IT technology for further expansion to overseas markets amidst rapid fintech developments in the Asia Pacific? So before we go further, let's take a look at the current context. FinPollution is a leading fintech platform in China that is seeking for international expansion as regulations are tightened in the home country. With our strategy of strengthen and scale up, we envision a better future for your company to be able to expand into overseas markets of Southeast Asia, specifically to Indonesia, forming a strong user base in the market. Now, without further ado, let's jump into our analysis. When we look at FinPollution as a business entity, we perceive your company as some kind of connector, forming linkages between two parties, the underserved individual borrowers and the financial institutions, in which each of them have their own specific interests of borrowing and lending. Utilizing AI and IT technology as the main value proposition, your company have built a strong foundation of systems that are used to support two main businesses of fintech services and fintech empowerment. Overall, seeing your company's presence in China, FinPollution is already one of the leading fintech companies in the country, with coverage of as much as 97% Chinese cities. It is important to note, though, that most of your current users are actually the millennials, ranging from 20 to 40 years old. However, as there have been changes within the regulation in your home country, FinPollution certainly needed to switch their game, and they have actually did, with some initiatives as seen on the top right side of the slide. But despite the challenges in the home country, opportunities in the international market is emerging, as fintech has grown at a fast pace, and the trend is expected to continue in the upcoming years, as there has been positive responses from multiple stakeholders, like the government and the users. This is certainly an opportunity that FinPollution should not miss. But the big question is, which market should FinPollution tap into first? We understand that every strategy has to begin somewhere. Hence, we did an assessment on the four markets of Southeast Asia that provides the largest potential for FinPollution. Comparing each one based on the following criteria, we believe that Indonesia should be the next step for FinPollution in pursuing international expansion, as it is the most promising and favorable one for your company. Thus, which segment should be your company's target? We classified the market into three segments: the seniors, the millennials, and the youngsters. We believe that FinPollution should put the millennials as the main target of the strategy. However, three key characteristics should be pointed out with regards to the Indonesian users, such that currently there is low financial literacy. Secondly, they are open to technological changes, but several vital points like human interaction should be maintained. And also, there is a continuous rise in the middle income segment of Indonesia, which means that it promises great prospect for your company in the future. Now, ladies and gentlemen, understanding the key issues for FinPollution in entering the Indonesian market, such that there is low financial literacy and high needs of human interaction to penetrate new technology in the country, and the difficulty of exploring new business opportunities in the competitive but immature financial ecosystem of Indonesia, allow us to present to you our grand solution: strengthen and scale up with extra FinPollution and FinPollution aggregator. For further elaboration on the solution, I will pass on to my colleague, Shania.
Thank you for your deep explanation on the issue that we are facing, Alex. Now I'm about to explain the solution that we've been working on. First, to solve the first key issue where our target market in Indonesia have low financial literacy and high demand of human interaction in adopting new technology, we are going to increase the financial literacy and the use of finvolution in Indonesia with our first strategy, strengthen extra finvolution, by having additional value proposition using Faluna robo-advisors. Now let's deep dive into this strategy. Extra fin solution is basically a solution where we are making extra services in order to cater the needs of customers in Indonesia and its surroundings. To make it easier for you to understand our proposal, we have drawn for you the difference between old scenarios and our proposal. In summary, there will be 4 key steps that will be enhanced by our strategy. Under extra finvolution, we're not going to look for the match of lenders and borrowers manually. Instead, we're going to use your feature Magic Mirror to make it easier and faster for users to find fundings, which will result in better user experience for both lenders and borrowers at the same time because of the less waiting time that they have to deal with. Secondly, under this proposal, we're adding more value during their user experience by having Faluna robo-advisors. Faluna can act as information center, consultant, or as a reminder to any deadline for both lender and borrowers. For lenders itself, Faluna could help and share information on how lenders could leverage its profit by allocating its fund accordingly in the applications. And as for borrowers, while Faluna will help them in directing on how to use the applications, how to manage their payment to meet the deadline, and which lending proposal will be productive according to their prospect, and etc. And the next question might be, how will this strategy match with our target market and different with other strategies that are currently in the market? We're going to cater their needs because we're delivering the best value for them and using the intersection of human and technology in this proposal. As our target market faces some difficulties in accessing information and guidance, thus self-robo-advisor doesn't really suit our target market. On the other hand, full-service robo-advisors, where everything is fully automated, also doesn't really suit our target market as they feel no empathy during the process and they're feeling insecure of the service quality itself. However, we believe that Faluna will work as there are currently many investment applications that use robo-advisors as one of their strategy in Indonesia. Thus, by proposing Faluna, we are positioning ourselves in the middle and cater the needs of borrower and lender at its best positions. This strategy targets MSMEs as the borrower and millennials as the lenders, and we are sure that this will be the best solution in tapping into Indonesia and Southeast Asia market. They will be the best target market for your company because MSMEs is the biggest contributor to national GDP of Indonesia and make up more than 96% of all Asians business. The low financial literacy would also be opportunity to tap into as there is a rising willingness to learn, but the number of financial literacy are still low. Thus, they are more likely to be willing to use such applications that also give financial literacy inside the apps using Faluna robo-advisor. And here is the marketing strategy that will support extra finvolution, where we highlight the awareness on steps in the social media and other channels that we are using, as well as having referral code and vouchers to invite people to use finvolution and trigger others to promote our applications. Under this strategy, we are going to achieve 3 main KPIs. First, there will be 4 times bigger registered users. Secondly, targeted loan distribution will reach more than 600 billion. And thirdly, we are aimed to get more than 70% of awareness from our marketing initiatives. All in all, the strategy can be replicated when finvolution is going to enter another country by highlighting the understanding of local characteristics of the citizens and making sure that finvolution creates the adjustment towards that, while also using their current competitive benefits, especially their 4 main technological expertise.
Let's move into our second solution, In this solution, we will explore further the long-term potential that Fin Solution needs to do assert its position in Southeast Asia, especially Indonesia, as a very potential market. The key issue that we will resolve here is how Fin Solution can explore opportunities for new business opportunities in a highly competitive but still immature business opportunity. This strategy will also make Indonesia the gambit or the first step to target the Southeast Asia market. The key objective in this solution is to provide technology as a service to their partnering financial institution in the form of new business models. Our solution is Scale Up, Fin Solution Aggregator. This solution consists of 2 points. First, establishing strategic partnership using joint ventures to form a financial aggregator business model. And the second one is leverage its technological resource and capabilities in terms of artificial intelligence as a service for financial institutions and fintech startups in Indonesia. Before entering into the strategy, we should start with why. The reason we chose this strategy was that we saw the opportunity and the future of fintech in Southeast Asia. In the context of Southeast Asia, collaboration are an important issue. Fintech companies and banks can have access to broader market, along with a number of other benefits, such as a faster road to product market fit, where fintech companies can attain early adopter from the banking clients. We highlight that collaborating instead of competing with established fintech can provide innovative tech solutions that provide benefit for the customers, fintech itself, and also the banks. For example, shared service and knowledge will improve product offering through data analytics tools like predictive analytics, offering deeper engagement with customer, which is a capability that Fin Solution has. We conclude that the shift from disruption to collaboration is largely driven by use of more collaborative business model, such as a B2B2C. As previously explained by Alex in the analysis section, Indonesia is a very emerging market, both in the context of number of customers, the number of fintech companies, and also both startup and financial institutions that have shifted to digital sectors. From the customer side, they are spoiled by a wide variety of financial lending options. As of December 2020, there are 152 fintech lenders registered in Financial Service Authority of Indonesia. However, this is a bit contradicting fact that Indonesia relatively low financial literacy. Apart from that, a situation like this has also resulted in an issue of shark loans, which is currently quite rising worrisome in Indonesia. In terms of financial companies, the issue they face is a bad loan performance, which is still quite high at almost 8%. In addition, they realized that to improve the efficiency of the lending process, technology and deployment of artificial intelligence were needed to manage their business process. In leveraging this, most companies take a road to make a partnership rather than building their own system. From this, it should be realized that there are two issues. The first issue is customer trust need to be maintained in the midst of so many available options of fintech product. And from fintech and institutional side, it's necessary to carry out a risk management issue so the financial institution not suffer losses while leveraging the technology for its business. Using their advanced technologies of artificial intelligence, including a magic mirror system, Magpie bridge system, bright mirror anti-fraud platform, and also smart customer service, they can use it to run business process as a financial aggregator. It is slightly different from their model business in China because we believe they can leverage its technological resources better. As an aggregator, Fin Solution acts as an agent between borrowers and licensed financial institution. Borrowers were required to give information about themselves and the purpose of the loans through this aggregator. Fin Solution aggregator will use magic mirror system to assess the credibility of the borrower and decide whether or not to reject the loan application. If approved, then Fin Solution use Magpie bridge system to match the borrower with a suitable institutional funding partner. If so, they will provide some option of financial product that's suitable to their condition and also have been adjusted to their customer credit profile. If the customer had the chosen institutional funding could still assess the customer by their own credit assessment risk system they already have. If the institution is approved for the loan, then the funding was released to the borrower. As with the existing business model in China, Fin Solution aggregator will manage the loan using its complex network of fraud detection system that they have. If a loan was overdue, then Fin Solution contact the borrower and update the borrower credit profile. We will use a joint venture formation strategy to form a strategic partnership. Our main target is Cermati.com, which is one of suitable fintech profile and also their capabilities in terms of data and product range. In this solution, we are targeting two KPIs as indicator. The first indicator is new revenue stream from the service fee by 3.3 trillion rupiah. The second KPI we will set in the number of strategic partnership with 25 financial institutions. For the implementation part, I will pass to my colleague Erika.
Thank you, Andi. So after my colleague have explained about the details in our strategy, let's take a look at the projected impact. So from our strategy, Extra Finvolution, it is expected to yield 4 times the existing registered user base in the course of 3 years, which will grow through additional registered borrowers and also lenders. And it is assumed that the penetration rate to lenders and borrowers account for 2%, which is benchmarked from another industry in Indonesia. On the other hand, Extra Finvolution is expected to increase the loan distribution and as well as to increase the awareness in Indonesia. The targeted loan distributions amounts for approximately 675 billion Indonesian rupiah, which will be gained through increased loan transactions from our projected user base. On the other side, we are looking to increase the awareness of our applications within Indonesia's millennial generations by 76% in the course of 3 years through promotional activities such as vouchers, social media, and ads. From our strategy, Finvolution Aggregator, we are expecting to gain additional revenue stream by approximately 3.3 trillion Indonesian rupiah in the course of 5 years, considering this is a long-term strategy with assumed transaction fee of 2% from the overall transaction volume. On the other hand, we are aiming to increase the data capabilities through the expanded network by doing strategic partnership with 25 financial institutions, mainly 21 small institutions and 4 startup and or SME aggregators. So at this point, you may also ask, how about the cost of implementing our strategy? There are 2 types of costs, joint venture cost and the yearly expense. We are looking to conduct a joint venture, which is estimated around 1.7 trillion Indonesian rupiah with assumptions that we are going to acquire 50% ownership of the targeted strategic partner. On the other hand, the yearly expense accounts for 21.6 billion Indonesian rupiah, which consists of 3 types of costs, tech, people, and the marketing costs. For further explanations, on the bottom right side, the tech development cost is related to the development of robo-advisor in web and also applications. People costs are related to the CRM and also IT team. Meanwhile, the marketing cost is related to the promotional costs. In order to successfully implement our strategy, Finvolution needs a project the 3-year implementation timeline with measurable KPI. The implementation timeline is divided into 2 parts, Extra Finvolution and Finvolution Aggregator. For Extra Finvolutions, we are looking to conduct research and development as well as the prototyping and MVP creations on the first year. Product release will be expected at the end of first year. Meanwhile, for the promotional activities will be conducted along the year and to be followed by product iterations and evaluations. For Finvolution Aggregator, we are looking to identify the potential partner, conduct evaluation analysis and due diligence in the first year. Proposal, negotiations, as well as approval and permission agreement from all of the stakeholders will be conducted afterwards, which will be followed by the establishment of legal entity. However, we believe there is no strategy without any risk. We identified there are 4 key major risks, which 2 of them are above the critical line that Finvolution should be able to mitigate. The first one is the competitions from other peer-to-peer lending players, which will be mitigated through leveraging Finvolution's strong brand value and also tailored human-centric approach. And the second one is the lower than expected registered user base, which will be mitigated through conducting a referral marketing scheme to cater millennials user base in Indonesia. Thus, we circled back to our main key questions. How can Finvolutions leverage its robust IT technology for further expansion to overseas markets amidst the rapid fintech development in Asia Pacific with 2 key issues. The first one is the low financial literacy and high needs of human interactions to penetrate new technology in Indonesia, as well as the exploring new business opportunities in the competitive but also immature financial ecosystem of Indonesia, which will be solved by our strategy, strengthen and scale up with 2 main arms, Extra Finvolution and Finvolution Aggregator, which will bring 5 key projected impacts: increase user base, loan distribution, awareness, gain new revenue stream, and expand network and partners, which also can bring Finvolution to tap into the heart of Indonesian market. Thank you. Now the floor is open for questions and answer. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for the presentation. And now it's time for the Q&A session. We will have 15 minutes The countdown will start now. Let's hear the first question. Thank you.
Hi, thank you, team, for the presentation. I have a question on the proposal on having joint venture. I think earlier, during the presentation, I see that there's a talk about strategic collaboration with fintech companies and banks, and then that we talk about joint venture in that respect, and subsequently towards the end with Erica speaking. I heard that there's the intention is to acquire 50% ownership of the target strategic partner. So how do the two actually? That's part of joint venture. So how do the two actually correlate with each other? Would that be just can you expand a little bit on that, please?
Okay, thank you so much for the questions. Yes, we believe that we are going to acquire strategic partnership with 25 financial institutions. However, we believe that in the Indonesia landscape, there is actually a startup that is an aggregator for financial institutions, which already has existing networks of financial institutions in Indonesia. So we believe that rather than we are going to acquire partnerships one-on-one with all of the financial institutions, it's more cost-effective for us to actually conduct a joint venture by acquiring this strategic partner, which is already mentioned by my colleague, is Cermati.com. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi. Maybe I just check on a couple of points. Thanks for the detailed presentation. First question is, what are the learnings from China have you taken into account when preparing the strategy for Indonesia?
Sorry, sir. Could you repeat the question?
What are the learnings from the China experience of Finvolution that you've taken into account to finalize a strategy for Indonesia?
Okay, if I may answer, one of the learnings that we see from the case of China is that with regards particularly with the peer-to-peer businesses is that what causes them to fail in the country is in which there is information asymmetry between players and the platforms, leading to capital pool problems and illegal guarantees that happen in the country. And when applying this strategy to Indonesia, we're expecting that with our strategy, we would put a complex registration process and as well as tightening the legislation in the areas with the government. So I think that those are some of the points we learned from China.
Yeah, I want to add some answer. According to my colleague Alex, in Indonesia, peer-to-peer fintech firms are reported emerging, but also have an increase in a bad loan performance. It's up 7.9% in July 2020. The declining payment quality is not only happening in the fintech lending industry, but also in the financial sector itself. So our strategy is our role play as a platform in terms of the peer-to-peer business itself and also the aggregator business itself to be increasing the access to financing for especially underbanked people in Indonesia will keep growing. The implementation and deployment of AI technology in customer service, especially in the loan collection, I think it's the main strength that Finvolution have to tap into in Indonesia. Yeah, I think that's answer.
Can I ask a quick question on robo-advisor? So obviously, one of the critical capabilities from Finvolution is about the ability to provide robo-advisor to a community that is with low financial literacy. And one of the typical reasons for the low adoption rate of this advisor is about trust. If I'm a customer with no background on finance and I'm being asked to trust a advice from a robot, usually there will be some challenges. So what are your thoughts on consideration on making sure our customer as a person with no financial background to trust your product?
Okay, thank you so much for your question. So there are several things that we are about to do to make sure that our clients are will have a trust towards this Followup robo-advisors. Such as first, we are going to, for example, making a partnership with OJK, as well as we are making events with also Indonesian financial institutions to make sure that we have our brand in the society is the one that is highly connected with such organizations, to make sure that our society in Indonesia they believe that even our applications that came from China, for example, are also correlated with Indonesian financial institutions such OJK and Bank Indonesia, for example. And besides that, we are also making such marketing initiatives which also integrate from social media, which we educate these people based on the financial things, that also we make sure that we also correlate with some big or influencers that are related to finance in Indonesia, to make sure that people in Indonesia could believe to what we share and our strategy itself. Besides that, we also create some webinars with some Ministry of Finance, for example, in Indonesia, to make sure that we can have such connection with Indonesia's finance and environment. So, yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Go on, go on.
Probably I would like to add on some points to my colleague's answer. So in regards to building a trust, engagement is really important. So in order to build engagement in our robo-advisors, we are going to use tailored and localized approach by actually, for example, like using a local language inside of the robo-advisors, and as well as tailoring the human-centric persona in the robo-advisors for the typical Asian one. So that will build the trust over time. Thank you.
No, thanks. I think we did see that you were trying to combine both the human element and the analytics-based robots one, and that's an interesting one. Maybe a follow-up question from me. I think I did like the fact that you had a pretty structured one, but two different solutions. Each solution had different KPIs. However, I'm just curious, profits was not one of the KPIs or the success factor, or did I miss something? What? So they have quite a few criteria, but how profitable is the venture then?
Yep, sure. We believe that, thank you so much for the questions. So we believe that firstly, tapping into international market, we are not going to aim for profit, but we are going to aim for additional awareness, and as well as the registered user base as our first primary KPI. But in addition to that, we are going to use KPI, another KPI, which is the additional revenue stream for our aggregator strategy, which is estimated around 3.3 trillion in the course of 5 years. So we believe that that KPI alone is already sufficient to actually build a strong foundations in Indonesian market.
Yeah,
okay.
I want to add on some answer. May I? Yeah, we also understand that the main issue at this time in Indonesia, traditional banks are starting to adapt by providing digital bank business line, which means we realize that FinVolution has better technological capabilities, especially in terms of implementing artificial intelligence and technology to make the ecosystem better, because we can offer this mean entering like maybe entering into cooperation with them. In addition, of course, some companies we can also provide service, technology service to them to make it our like our ecosystem in Indonesia is better. So to make them more convinced to why they want to have a cooperate with us, we also can provide incentive in the form of more profitable fees to increase their interest in working together. While of course the business model we provide in aggregator is also very secure and provides new channeling to channel funding more widely for them. I hope it could add my colleague answer. Thank you.
Thank you. I did see the number, and it was pretty much huge, eye-popping 3.5 trillion Indonesian rupees, even with the exchange rates. It should be profitable, but I was wondering, did you have that outlook in mind? Maybe I follow up on that in terms of your strategy was, one of them was B2B2C, which is you combining with the back-end banks or the fintech companies. Does it not mean that you should also, one of the risks you should manage is a regulatory risk, because you are combining with the banks and therefore you should be governed by the local regulations? How would you manage to navigate that regulatory risks?
Thank you so much for the questions. Yes, we believe that one of our key enablers for our strategy is the strategic partnership with government. Yeah, and yes, we have already pointed out that Indonesian government has declared AI as one of the strategic technologies of its Making Indonesia 4.0 roadmap. As part of the fourth industrial revolution. So we believe that these visions, which the government has, can actually enable us to gain some collaborations, for example, with the Ministry of the technology itself. Yeah, thank you.
So can I ask a follow-up question on that one? So basically, the direction of travel for the government is to kind of uplift the whole ecosystem of the financial industry in the country. So from your perspective, what is your 5-year vision of the firm? For example, you now focus on not only primarily on the revenue stream, but also on the registered user base. Are you going to, for example, sell your company to other larger firm to aggregate the data, or is it something that you want to consolidate the industry? For example, the power of aggregation of the financial data comes from the level of mature of data or the amount of data that you have in your armory. So today we have a lot of different larger and smaller firms in the market, which is flourishing. So at some stage, the customer will be facing a problem that I have too many offer from multiple aggregators. So what is your strategy to overcome that? Or initial approach to handle their challenges?
Yeah, we realize that we realize that the most strength that FinVolution has is better technological capabilities they have in terms of implementing artificial intelligence technology. We can over this to means of entering into cooperation with them. In addition, of course, for some companies, we can also provide incentive in the form of more profitable fees to increase their interest in working together with us. While of course the business model we provide is also somehow it's more secure because we help them to improve their technological implementation of AI in their assessment system, but also we also deploy to our customer in terms of the peer-to-peer lending business and also the aggregator business to provide more secure risk management to them. Yeah, I hope it could make us in a better position in Indonesia, because we actually have pretty strong subsidiaries also in Indonesia, which name is Ada Kami Indonesia, which is we could make this as our first step to maybe spread our technological capabilities to another financial solution that we would to have a partnership with them. I hope it answers your question.
Yep. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Next.
Okay, if there are no more questions, is there any more question, or are we? If there are no more questions, thank you very much, the team. We will place you now back in the waiting room for about 8 minutes to give judges the time to deliberate. Thank you very much, the team.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much,
so much,
Gadjah.
all
Thank
of the
you.
judges.
Judges,
Such
you.
opportunity.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.